work with us in the winter by the name of Jeremy Beasley. You know who this guy is? He made a big league debut, so hopefully we have 2 years in a row that we hopefully get to give somebody to be their good luck charm. So Jeremy had a very similar story to Ivan. Jeremy was at Clemson, went to Clemson and was like their number 14. So he leaves Clemson, he goes to Samford, I think it is. Junior college, Radford. Goes to Radford Junior College, ends up having a nice year or two, transfers back to Clemson, goes back to Clemson, he's their 14th again. Throws really, really hard. They had him throwing 2-seam. Should have been throwing 4-seam. He was 95, 97. Throwing 2-seam, for you guys that don't know, 2-seam's going to run arm side into righties. Throwing 95, 97, throws 4-seam, let it ride. You remember Jeremy was with us last winter rather. So he gets drafted out of Clemson, and he had a nice junior college career. He was at Clemson twice and never really made a huge impact. I think he may have pitched 15 innings at Clemson his last year there. Goes through the minor league system, ends up playing in the big leagues. The point of this part of this is that I want to communicate to so many parents, players, and alike. You get so caught up in the name on the front of our jersey, right? And I talk about the ESPN schools. So you've got the schools that when we turn on ESPN for football, for basketball, for baseball, there's those names that are out there that everybody knows. So for example, in our world right now, Vanderbilt. Everybody knows about Vanderbilt. How many scholarships does Vanderbilt really have? Anybody know? How many they got? They got 11.7, right? Well, that's what everybody says. How many scholarships, you're in that world, do you know how many scholarships they actually have? 30. Okay, so this is where it's not fair. What people don't realize is there's rules inside of college athletics that make there be huge disparities that you just can't compete with. It just is what it is. So how does Vanderbilt have 11 guys that all run out at 95? And Florida, who's played for a national championship, and I know the guy really well, and he does a really, really nice job. He was Clemson's pitching coach for 15 years before he goes down. Sully, a little edgy, but he's a really good guy. But why doesn't he have 15 guys rolling out 95? So what happens is there's many of the rules that are behind the scenes that you don't realize. I'll give you the 30-second rendition of why Vanderbilt is so successful and also why they have so many players. They have 11.7 scholarships. They also are a private school, so they have a huge endowment that they can now pay for your school, your book, your tuition, your apartment, pay for everything that comes out of that endowment that doesn't come out of that 11.7. So for example, if they've got a kid that they know is going to graduate, they put him in the 11.7. If they got a kid they think is going to get drafted after his junior year, for example, the freshman that started the College World Series, he's from Georgia, what's his name?
Rocker.
Yeah, Kumar Rocker. So he goes to Vanderbilt, and he's basically on 115% scholarship. His books, his school's paid for, his housing's paid for, his bills are paid for, and everything's paid for. And he should have been probably first, second, third round, right? But instead he's going to Vanderbilt. So understand there's a million things that go on behind the scenes that you have no idea as to how it works and that are affecting you. So for example, anybody that's in this room right now that has a kid or is a kid that's a 2023 and above, totally different world than we've ever seen in my 17 years of doing this. Because of COVID, I've never seen anything like it. So you're going to have to understand that your journey is also going to be very different. So for example, here's a guy that's 15th overall prospect in Cincinnati Reds organization. He didn't have all the disparity that we currently have with COVID. So to explain to some of the parents that maybe don't have high school players what I'm talking about. So now that with COVID this past year, the NCAA gave all sports, baseball, another year of eligibility. With that being said, so you've got guys that were, say, a redshirt freshman. They're a freshman again. So now they're in school for their third year. They had a redshirt, Then they had their redshirt freshman year, and they're a redshirt freshman again. So they still got 3 years of eligibility because of the COVID. So you also had seniors that maybe it was a guy that maybe doesn't throw 95 or he's got big league tools, but he's 87, 88 or 83, 84, and he just got mad arm side run. Or it's a big guy that's good grades and he doesn't want to travel all over the country and not concerned with playing baseball, but he can really hit. And he wants to stay in school to get his master's. So I'm not worried about getting drafted. I know I'm going to go get my master's degree anywhere. I get a free year eligibility. I'll stay on campus. I'll get to play. So you have fifth-year seniors or seniors that would have graduated or stayed. You've got freshmen coming in that they graduated high school, so they're already there. They're already committed. Meanwhile, you only had 5 rounds of draft this year, where normally you would have 40, right? So that's 35 rounds times 30 of high school players that would have gone professionally, potentially. Instead, they're now going to college. So my best estimation in the college ranks, there's roughly 9,500 players that are in the college baseball system today that would not normally be in that college baseball system. So, if you have any spare time in the spring, I would really urge you to go watch college baseball because it's going to be some of the best things you've ever seen. I can tell you in talking to some of my friends that I've got at Georgia and Georgia Tech and Valdosta State and Young Harris and all of these different places that I have a relationship with, they tell me it's the best roster I've ever had, and I'm still not sure if I'm going to break the top 4. Excuse me? He's like, it's the best roster I've ever had. He said, but the problem is everybody has the best roster they ever had, right? So the guy that was 95 that all of a sudden kind of figured it out. Guys figure it out on their own time. They figure it out later. Some guys figure, and I use pictures because velocity is something that we all kind of can understand. It's easy to understand. A guy that throws 95 is more marketable professionally than a guy that throws 89. Whether we like it or not, it just is what it is. Okay? So the 95 guy can get lit up, and the 89 guy dice everybody up, but they're still going to venture on the side of the 95. It's just where we're at in that world. So you got a guy that maybe he, if he was in this time, would he maybe get a chance to get drafted? Maybe, maybe not. There's a lot of those things that happen. So my point in saying that is we're going through a period of time that it's going to take about 3 years to cycle all of this stuff out with COVID and the extra year of eligibility and money and all those things that normally would not be there. So if you have a parent of a child during that time, you're going to have to understand that it's going to be very different than before. It's not maybe just going to happen naturally or just easily. You're going to have to make